Good afternoon, Tan Ajahn.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Let us pay respect to Tan Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. We'll begin with the chanting. We invite Tan Ajahn to lead us in the chanting, please.
Okay, so we start with the Buddha verse on loving kindness, as always. Karaniyamatha kusalena yantang santang patang apisamecha sako uchu cha suhuchu cha suwacho cha samutu anatimani santu sako cha suparo cha appakicho cha sallahukavutti santintriyo cha nipago cha appakappo kulesu ananukito naจะขุดทั้งสมาจะเรกินจิเยนะวินโยปะเรอุปวัฏยุงสุขิโนวาเคมิโนโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตาเยเกจิปานภูตาทิตสาวาทาวราวาอนาวเสสาจิขาวาเยมหันตาวามาชิมารัสกาอนุกทุลาทิฏฐาวาเยจะอทิฏฐาเยจะทุเรวสันติอวิทุเรภูตาวาสัมภเวสีวาสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตานะปะโรปะรังนิกุเพทนันติมันเยทกัตถจินังกินจิพยาโรสนะปฏิฆสัญญานัญญมัญญสทุกขมิจฉยมาตายธานิยังปุตตังอายุสาเอกปุตตมนุรักเขเอวัมปิสัพพโพเตสุมาณสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังเมตัญจะสัพพโลกัสมิงมานะสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังอุทธังอโทจติริยัญจะอสัมภาทังอเวรังอสปัตตังติทันจรังนิสินโนวาสยาโนวายาวตัสสวิคตมิโทเอตังสติงอทิเทยพรัมมะเมตังวิหารังอิทมาหุทิทินจะอนุปคัมมสีลวาทัสสเนนะสัมปันโนกาเมสุวินัยยะเคทังนะหิชาตุคัพพะเสยยังปุณเรติติ Now let us chant the Buddha verse on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will which harms upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart, choose one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading ours to the skies and ours to the depths, ours and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Okay, so today we do the Dhammapatha chantings. Just selected few of those chanting. We do Pali first. Mano puppang kama dhamma, mano siddha mano maya, manasa je patuttena, pasati va karoti va, tatto nang tukhaman veti, jakkang va vahato patang, mano puppang kama dhamma, mano siddha mano maya, manasa je pasannena, pasati va karoti va, tatto nang sukhaman veti, chaya va anapayini, suphanupassing viharantang, intriyesu asangvutang, bhojanam hi amatanyung, kusitang hi naviriyang, Tang ve pasahati maro vato rukkang vatuppalam asuppanupassing viharantang intriyesu susangvutang bhojanam hi jamatanyung sattang aratthaviriyang tang ve nappasahati maro vato selang vapampatang Chakkhuna sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sotena sangvaro, khanena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu shivhaya sangvaro, kayena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu vajaya sangvaro, manasa sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sapphatta sangvaro, sapphatta sangvuto bhikkhu, Sapphatukha pamujjati. All states of beings are determined by the heart. It is the heart that leads the way, just as the wheel of the ox cart follows the hoofprint of the animal that draws it. So suffering will surely follow when we speak or act impulsively from an impure heart. All states of being are determined by the heart. It is the heart that leads the way. As surely as our shadow never leaves us, so well-beings will follow when we speak or act with a pure heart. As a stormy wind can uproot a felled tree, so one who holds heedlessly to pleasure, who indulges in food at its indolence, can be uprooted by Mara. As a stormy wind cannot move a mountain of rock, so one who contemplates the reality of the body, who develops faith and energy, is unmoved by Mara. It is good to restrain the eye. It is good to restrain the ear. It is good to restrain the nose. It is good to restrain the tongue. It is good to be restrained in body. It is good to be restrained in speech. It is good to be restrained in mind. It is good to be restrained in everything. The renunciate who is restrained in every way will realize freedom from suffering. Dhammaramo dhammarato, dhammang anuvijintayang, dhammang anusarang bhikkhu, saddhammana parihayati, appalapo pice bhikkhu, salabhang nati manyati, tang ve theva pasangsanti, sutta shiving atantitang, sapphaso namaro pasaming, yasanati mamayitang, asata janaso jati, save bhikkhu divujjati, metta vihariyo bhikkhu, ปัสสันโนพุทธศาสเนอธิคัจเฉปทังสันตังสังขารุปสมังสุขังปาโมชัพพหุโลภิกขุปัสสันโนพุทธศาสเนอธิคัจเฉปทังสันตังสังขารุปสมังสุขังโยหเวทหโรภิกขุยุญชติพุทธศาสเนโสอิมังโลกังปภาเสติอัปภามุตโตวจันทิมาธัมมาปิติสุขังเสติวิปัสสเนนะเจตสาอริยปเวทิเตธัมเมสัทธารมติปันติโต One who abides in Dhamma, who delights in Dhamma, who contemplates Dhamma, who memorizes Dhamma, does not lose the way, but being contented even with modest gains, pure in livelihood and energetics, you will be held in high esteem. Through renunciates, regards the entire body-mind without any thoughts of I or mine, and are devoid of longing for what they do not have. A renunciate who abides in loving kindness with a heart full of devotion for the Buddha's teachings will find peace, stillness, and bliss. A monk who cultivates the joyous disposition and is filled with confidence in the way will find peace, stillness, and bliss. While still a youth, a renunciate fully devoted to the way lights up the world like the moon emerging from clouds. Surrendering oneself to Dhamma leads to serene beings. The wise perpetually delight in the truth taught by the awakened one. Sero yatha ekakano vatena nasamirati ewang nintha pasangsasu nasamincanti pantita appamato amatam patang pammato majuno patang appamatta namiyanti ye pamatta yathamata etang visesato yattawa appamatham hipantita appamathe pamothanti ariyanang khojare rata te chayino satatika niccang tanha parakkama pussanti thira nippanang yokakhemang anuttarang suttassang vachamanye sang attano panatuttasang paresang hiso vachani opunati yatha pusang attano panachāteti karing vakitawa sato attana vakatang papang attana sangkilisate attana akatang papang attana va visucchati sutti asutti pacatang nanyo anyang visothaye mahawamanye thapapasa namatang akamisate Uttha pintu nipatena Uttha kumpho pipurati Purati paro papasa Tokam pi ajinang. As solid rock is unshaken by the wind, so are those with wisdom undisturbed, whether by place or blame. Heedfulness leads to the deathless, heedlessness leads to death. Those who are heedful will fully alive, while those who are heedless are as if already dead. The wise, being fully alive, rejoice in heedfulness and abide delighting in this ability. The awakened ones, firm in their resolve, vigorously apply themselves and know freedom from all limitation, liberation through security. It is easy to see the faults of others, but it takes courage to look at one's own, as with chaff one might winnow others' shortcomings while hiding one's own, as a stealthy hunter might conceal himself from his prey. By ourselves we do evil, and by ourselves we are made impure. By ourselves we avoid evil, and by ourselves we are made pure. The matter of purity is our own affair. No other can be responsible. Do not ignore the effects of evil, saying this will come to nothing. Just as by the gradual fall of raindrops, the water jar is filled, so in time fools are corrupted by evil doing. Mavamanye tapunyasa nammatang akamisati uttapinto nipatena uttakumpho pipurati purati thiro punyasa thokam pi ajinang nakkarang yatha pajjantang kuttang santarapahirang ewang kope tha attanang kano ma upachaka kanati ta hi sojanti nirayam hi samappita nappare sang viromahi nappare sang kata katang attano wa avekaya kattani akatani cha yatthapi ruchirang puphang vanna vantang akhanthakang ewang supphasita vaja appala hoti akuppato yatthapi ruchirang puphang vanna vantang sakhanthakang ewang supphasita vaja sapphala hoti sukuppato yatthapi puphara simha kayira mara kune pahu ewang chatena majjena kattaphang kusalang pahung uttane nam pamathena sanyamena thamena cha thi pankayira thame thavi yang okhona pikirati. Do not ignore the effects of right action, saying this will come to nothing. Just as by the gradual fall of raindrops, the water jar is filled, so in time the wise become replete with good. As a border city must be carefully protected, so guard yourself both within and without. Build your defense wisely and in time. If these things are not attended to at the right moment, glad sadness will come. Dwell not on the faults and shortcomings of others. Instead, seek clarity about your own. As a beautiful flower without fragrance is disappointing, so are wise words without right action. As a beautiful flower with a delightful fragrance is pleasing, so is wise and lovely speech when matched with right action. As many garlands can be made from a heap of flowers, so too much that is wholesome can be done during this human existence. By endeavor, vigilance, restraint, and self-control, let the wise make islands of themselves, which no flood can overwhelm. Sahasang mapite vaja anathapata sanghita ekang atthapatang sayo yang sutawa upasammati sahasang apije khatha anathapata sanghita ekang khatha patang sayo yang sutawa upasammati yo sahasang sahasena sangkhame manuse shine ekancha chayamatanang sawe sangkha machuttamo gonu haso kimananto nichang pachalite sati antakarena onatha patipang nakhawe satha aneka chati sangsarang santha visang anippisang kahakarakang kawe santo Tukha chati punah punang kahakarakatithosi punakehang nakahasi sappate pasuka pakha kahakutang visangkitang visangkarakatang cittang tanhanang kayamachakha yesang sampoti angkesu samma cittang supavitang hanapati disakhe anupathaya ye rata khina sawa chuti manto te loke parinipputa. A single words of truth which calms the mind is better to hear than 1,000 irrelevant words. A single word of truth which calms the mind is better to hear than 1,000 irrelevant verses. One might defeat alone in battle 1,000 men 1,000 times, but one who gains self-mastery is by far the greatest hero. Why is there laughter? Why is there joy when the world is on fire? Since you are crowded in darkness, should you not seek the light? For many lives I have wandered looking for, but not finding, the house builder, who caused my suffering. But now you are seen, and you shall build no more. Your laughter are dislodged, and the rich pole is broken. All craving is ended. My heart is as one with the unmade. Freeing themselves from longing, unhindered by habitual grasping, those who align themselves with the way, delight in non-attachment, and while still in the world are radiant. Parasankhatacharihi Thikang Mattana Sojati Tukho Phalehi Sangvaso Amitene Vasampatha Thiroja Sukha Sangvaso Yati Nang Vasamakamo Nattavata Dhammataro Yavata Pahupasati Yoja Appampi Suttavana Dhammang Kayena Passati Save Dhamma Tharo Hoti Yo Dhammang Napamachati Puppe Nivasang Yo Veti Sakha Payan Cha Passati Atho Jating Khayang Patto Abhinya Vosito Muni Sappha Vosita Vosanang Tamahang Prumi Brahmanang Pahung Ve Saranang Yanti Pappatani Vanani Cha Amarukha Cetayani Manusa Payata Chita Netang Ko Saranang Khemang Netang Saranamuttamang Netang Saranah Makhamma Sappatukha Pamocchati Yo Cha Putthan Cha Dhamman Cha Sangkhan Cha Saranang Khato Cattari Arya Sajjani Sammappanyaya Passati Tukkhaṃ Tukkhassā Muppadhaṃ Tukkassā ca Atikkamang Arya Catthaṃ Kikaṃ Makhaṃ Tukkhupassamakkhaminang Etaṃ Kho Saranang Khemang Etaṃ Saranamuttamang Etaṃ Saranah Makhamma Sappatukha Pamocchati. Tedious is the company of fools, always painful, like being surrounded by enemies. But to associate with the wise is like being at home. True one's knowledge may be limited. If understanding and conduct rightly accord with the way, one is to be considered well-versed in Dhamma. To understand all dimensions of past existence, to see accurately into all realms, to reach the end of rebirth, to know with insight that which must be known, to free the heart from ignorance. This is truly being made great. To many places beings withdraw, to escape from fear, to mountains, forests, parklands, and gardens, sacred places as well. But none of these places offer true refuge. None of them can free us from fear. One who finds refuge in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and in the Sangha sees with penetrating insight suffering, its cause, its release, and the way leading to true freedom. The Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, these are the true refuge. These are supreme. These lead to liberation. Makkanatthaṃ Kiko Setho Sajjanang Chaturo Patha Virakho Setho Dhammanang Tippathanan Cacakkuma Eso Vammakho Nattanyo Tassanasa Visuddhiya Etam Hitum He Patipacchata Marasetang Pamohanang Tum He Hikicchang Atappang Akkhataro Tathakata Patipanna Pamokhanti Chayino Marapantana อภิวาทนาสิริสานิจจังวุธาปจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมาวัฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังพลังกิจโชมนุสสปฏิลาโภกิจฉังมัจจานชีวิตังกิจฉังสัทธัมมัสสวนังกิจโชพุทธานามุปปาโทสุขโขพุทธานังอุปปาโทสุขาสัทธัมมเทศนาสุขาสังคัสสะสามัคคีสมัคคานังตโปสุขโขThe Eightfold Path is the most honorable way, the Four Noble Truths, the most honorable utterance, freedom from craving, the most honorable state, and the all-seeing Buddha, the most honorable beings. This is the only way, there is no other, that leads to clear seeing. Follow this way, and Mara becomes disoriented. The awakened ones can but point the way. We must make the effort ourselves. Those who reflect wisely and enter the path are free from the fetter of Mara. For one who always honors and respects those of greater years, there are four blessings: long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. It is not easy to be born as a human being and to live this mortal life. It is not easy to have the opportunity to hear Dhamma and therefore a Buddha to arise. Rest is the arising of the Buddha. Rest is the revealing of the Dhamma. Rest is the concord of the Sangha. Delightful is harmonious communions. Sadhu, sadhu.
We now request for the three refuge, 5 precepts and 8 precepts together. We'll begin by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama dutiyampi mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama tatiyampi mayang bante ti saranena saha atta pancha silani yachama.
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
พุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
บุตตังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
สังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ทุติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ทุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ทุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Ti sarana kamanang nititang.
Amabante.
ปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
อทินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Adinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
กาเมสุมิชฌาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิชฌาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
สุราเมรยมัชฌปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Sura Meraya Majapamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Now for the 8th preceptor, อภรัมมจริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
วิการโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
นัจจคีตาวาทิตาวิสุปทัสสนามาลาคันทะวิเลปนะธารณมันดนะวิภูสนัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Nacha Gita Varita Visukha Dasana Mala Ganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
อุจจาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ
Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
อิมานิปัญจอัฏฐสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
Imani Atta Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imani Atta Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imani Atta Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami.
สีเลนะสุขติงยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพพุติงยันติตัสมาสีรังวิโสทะเย
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us bow 3 times again. Let's bow. Second bow. Third bow. We will now formally request for the Dhamma Talk.
Brahma Jagoka Thikpakti Sahang Pakti Kaktan Javian Thikwak-rang Ayajakha Santi Thaksakta Pakrakja Kakjatika Hese Tuthang Mang Anukang Ikmang Pakjang.
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมะสามิ Okay, so we met again beginning of December, and so we make this special day, Friday, our one Pra, that we come together and renews our commitment to the triple gems and the Sila, the precept, training precept. So this is the very we call it the window of opportunity. This during this 5,000 years that we have the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. This is the precious jewels that we take refuge in. So it's good to have a chance to say that loudly, at least every week, to say that and make the commitment. Because before we have the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, even we do a lot of merit, because the field of merit is not that good, is the result is not that great. We know this because the Buddha told the story himself when he in the previous year when he was born as a Brahmin. He's very wealthy, and he make the dana like many yoshana, like 16 kilometer long line of giving out the food, all those very high quality that he give away. But he said of all those, it's not equal to giving something to the Sangha, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, because of the field of merit is much more great. So this is a time that we think about that, at least consciously, that how lucky we are that we have a chance to have the Buddha who enlightened, and he can teach very well expounded Dhamma that we chant, and the community of the Sangha who is like the spiritual friend who help us along the way. So we take that the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha as a refuge, and we just think about what is mean of those name that we call. What does it really mean that when we say we take a refuge in the Buddha? So the Buddha is the one who realized the Four Noble Truths. This is the thing that make him become the Buddha or the awakened one. So this Four Noble Truths is basically the core of what we call our life, as we say it. Normally we just know the first two probably very well, but we may not know it as such. But we are familiar with this suffering and the cause of suffering, because we're not knowing the what's causing suffering. So we are got trapped in this. Like what we just chant, the Buddha are looking for the house builder for many lives, but not able to find one. So when he found the house builder, which is the tanha or the craving, then they're no longer able to build the house for him. So in order to do that, you have to basically practice the Noble Eightfold Path, and then until it unite, come together, and that we see the end of suffering, the Nibbana. So this is the basically what the Buddha say, that whatever refuge that we have in the world, in the old day they go for the trees, the shrines, whatever the thing that they think can help them. You can change that nowadays. Whatever people looking, maybe in the stock market or in money, or what the security that you find in your life that you think that will help you, but maybe they're not able to help you through the whole suffering. They might help you some, but to basically get rid of all suffering, include of everything, like or a sickness and death, and reborn again, like that. So you need the knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. So the Buddha, having found that, he become called the Samma Sambuddha, the first person who realized that. And that also he showed us the potential of a human being, that we can also follow his example and become Buddha as well. Maybe not Samma Sambuddha, but Savaka, the follower. So when we take a refuge in the Buddha, we take a refuge in that you can call it core potential of human beings. We have a faith or the confidence that they're being born as human beings, we have potential to be better person, to put the end to all the suffering and to achieve the real freedom, the real happiness. So this is the can call it the main belief, the belief in the in education, in how that we can be better person. Of course, we are certain thing that we are now, but we somehow our unconscious are driving us towards something more. Like there should be something more than this. So it's just we are not just what we are, but we are what we can become as well. This is kind of two things. And the Buddha who show us that what we can really become, we can really become the full enlightened. So this kind of the thing is very very helpful and put us in the direction, especially in the searching for meaning. What is our meaning of all this? We born and get in this cycle, get a living and try to feed ourselves, take care of the people around us, and all sick, old, and die. Are they have any meaning in this at all? So the Buddha said, yes, they are. Yes, the path toward liberation, and if we practice correctly, then we can follow that. And the Dhamma is basically the whole document of such a evidence that the Buddha teach many people in the old day, and then they get enlightened as well. And the Sangha is the witness toward this truth, that he can show us the real path. And if we practice diligently, we can also one day can achieve that. So this is the meaning of the refuge that we take. We at least once a week, on in Thai we call one pra, when we dedicate. The pra is means something that good, something that that we aspire to be. Some supreme, some people who are closer to the goal than us. Basically, the goal is Nibbana, the one who is moving toward that direction, the one who have less greed, less hatred, and less delusion than us. So we searching for one. We try to make connection. So we can help, because practice by oneself is not that easy. It's very difficult to make the training for oneself, because we tend to be siding with the weaker nature of us. Just for example, just in the morning, if you don't have the Sangha community that we have to get together for morning chanting, how many people have a discipline to wake up by themselves and do the regular chanting? Probably not many people. But when you make commitment, okay, 3 o'clock the bell rings, and then I have to be to the sala by this and this time, and somehow a group of people coming together, if they're by themselves, they're probably not able to do that. But when they come together, they can do that. They every day, day in and day out, they have a commitment, and they join and then do the chanting like that. It's very inspiring. You start the day with the recollecting the word of the Buddha, because sometimes we forget. We have certain thing in life that we have to attend to, and we forgot that the path or what is the meaning of all this? Sometimes we lost sight of that. So to have the community, to have a spiritual friend who we committed to, and we can get together, we can chanting, we can pick up the piece of Dhamma together and make some chant, and the first word of the day is a Dhamma word, and then we can sit meditate for a few minutes together, so that is very helpful. So if you by yourself, it's probably difficult to do that. Probably, I get another sleep. You might come up with many excuses, like, I get to bed late, and this and that. So that usually the weak nature taking over your brain in the morning. So to have this kind of the refuge in the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. And so each morning we rest with I have another opportunity to practice. This is not the reason to be depressed or anything. I mean, this is an opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity that we can, maybe today get enlightened. Maybe today I will understand something in the teaching of the Buddha. Maybe I can sit meditate, and maybe I can get peaceful and quiet, and then I understand more, and through experience, the thing that I chant all along might have some new meaning. So that happened when we live in the life that practice, not to look down on our practice. The Buddha said when we practice day by day, it might not be obvious what we gain, but actually we did gain something every day. We looking back, certain things that we not able to do, now we can do. Certain things that we couldn't let go, now we can let go because of this triple gem of this Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Because of the Buddha and the Dhamma, he speak very clearly what is wholesome, what is unwholesome. The thing is, we don't want to hear. Sometimes it just go against what is our instinct is. So we listen to that, and then maybe with the help of the Sangha, the community of practice, and then we can make commitment and be better person. We're becoming a better person. So after taking a refuge, then the next step is the confidence, and take the first step in the path, which is called the training or the education. In Pali it's called Sikha. Sikha is mean basically education. That's why the Buddha, somebody doesn't want to call it religion, because it's different kind of religions. It's not the religions mean it binding to God somehow, but the Buddha is not. Buddha teaching is not that. It's just it just rely on us, basically the individual, the human, that we can understand the cause and condition, what can bring us benefit, bring us long-term happiness, what can bring us harm, what can bring us kind of downfall, that if we follow the path. So all of the understanding, we're taking up the training, try to restrain our body, speech, and mind, our sense door to these 6 doors. And then we make a commitment, saying out loudly of the precept, whatever level that you are at. Maybe you start with the 5 precepts. Somebody might be eager to take on maybe 6, 7, and 8. Whatever level that you keep the precept, then that is your training. So this is the thing that I think is very good to do that. Some people said it's not necessary. We don't have to say anything, but when thing happen, then we don't do it. Like, okay, maybe opportunity come, maybe the mosquito land on you, and then you refrain not to snap it, then it's a precept. Yes, you can do that. It's called, in Pali, have a technical term for that. It's called sampati virati. Virati mean refrain. Sampati mean when occasion, basically when the occasion there, and you can hold your mind not to break the precept. But the thing that we do when we say it loudly, the incident is not there yet. The mosquito doesn't land on you yet, but we make the intention. So that's why the whole concept of the precept that we say it loudly is that we make intention of the future. From now on, I will not harm any living beings. So that's wholesome. Even though the mosquito hasn't landed on you yet, you haven't actually refrained from it yet. But from the moment that we have an intention that from now on in the future, I will not harm any living being, that's a wholesome. And then actually it will complete when it's actually something land on you, and then you refrain from not killing that, so that's the complete. But if you just say, okay, I'm not have to say anything, I don't have to make any commitment, then you have only wholesome moment just a little bit when you refrain from that snapping the mosquito. But if you say it loudly, make it the habit of, oh, I will not do this, even though the thing will not happen in the future, but the wholesome is already there. And then every time you recorrect that, you have a kind of, you have a joy in your heart that my life is not want to harm any living beings, and that can be very helpful. Basically you can see yourself in the new framework. I think that is very important, because we are living in the world. We frame ourselves in different kind of way. You go in the office, you frame yourself in, you become whatever, the secretary, or you are frame yourself as a mother or a daughter taking care of your elderly parents, whatever. So every time we frame yourself in that, but so we should learn how to frame ourselves in the right way. I'm a good person, basically. I'm not harming other living beings. So that can be very wholesome. And by having that standard, and it can raise other good quality as well, like the hiri otapa, for example. Hiri is mean the moral shame. So if we take we consider ourselves as the one who keep precept, the training, we can call the one who are on training, the preceptor, the one who on training. We could be reluctant to do anything that is against the training precept, right? Because we look at our image as such a person, and then the sense of shame, the sense of fear, it just come. It is in the moral, in a good way, because we don't want to do that. We are. If we take in the precept, the fact that we know the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, the fact that we make commitment once, that we understand the benefit of keeping the precept, we know that when we break the precept, they will have a follow result. Then because of that, we have what we call the sense of the self, the good sense about ourselves, like the integrity about ourselves. I'm a good person. I'm not harming other person, and that can be a very wholesome, because you can reflect upon that. Because people who doesn't keep the precept, they not have a good feeling about themselves, because they not keep a precept. So why should they have anything? And because of that, they're not able to live with oneself. Usually people with break precept, they can go on, but they usually have to distract themselves all the time. People who cheat or corruption or whatever, the last thing they want to be is with themselves, because they know how bad they are. So they have to distract themselves with other things, entertainment all day long, and sometimes they even go to drug and all those things because they hate themselves. So the sense of self-respect, the sense of, this is the being that respect other living beings. This is the person who have integrity to keep that precept for such and such time. It just has to be very good. Maybe you can remember yourself when you first take this precept. Maybe say a few years ago. Some people maybe already take this for 10 years, but you can say, yeah, from that day on, that I make a commitment, not just once that I intently to kill living beings. When that is a good thing to able to say, if you have that intention and you try your best. Of course, sometimes you make some mistake, but then you accept that and you say that to your friend, and then decided to keep better time next time, to be more mindful, to be more careful about things. So that really a good sense of self that we can cultivate and be training, and that means that we on the path. So each rules or each training precept is basically help us, not only that we need the faith or the saddha to follow the precept, we also need wisdom as well to be able to keep the precept. Of course, not taking the precept is easy. You just don't have to care about anything. But keeping the precept, sometimes you also need to be skillful as well, how to keep the precept and in a way get things done, because sometimes it's very difficult to do it. But you have to do it in such a way that not harming others, and that you can develop a lot of wisdom from that as well, because you have that priority, you have this framework that no matter what, this is my framework. If it's against the precept, I will not do it. So you use that as your framework to go through life with that. And even when we get older, you can use that as reflections. That's why one of the anusati, the one that recollection is the Sila-nusati. The recollection is about one's own precept. When we make a reflections on the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, is something external. It's good, it's precious, but somehow we still far away from us. We are not a Buddha, Dhamma, we not know much, and the Sangha, once in a while we offer dana. But when we do precept, when we take up precept, that internal quality that you can take with you all the time. So to have that sense of Sila-nusati, go back and check in your precept, and you can go one by one and take joy in that. Oh yeah, I'm pure in this. I'm pure in this as well. In this area of harming and living, area of this is the area of life, area of life and death. The health idea of the area of the wealth. I'm not taking what is not given, and the area of the family security. I'm not gonna basically commit sexual misconduct. An area of commitment to truth, the speaking the truth word, and the area of the mindfulness and clear comprehension, not taking any intoxicants. So all this, the precept is the area that we have to deal with in life. The healthy, if you keep the precept, you'll be healthy. Your wealth will stay with you. You get it easily. Even you are not basically lose your wealth. You have the family, with a good and caring family. You're not separating from your loved one, and then you will find the truth. You will not get lost in any fake news and all those things, because your commitment, you have a moral compass in the right way, and then you have a good mindfulness and clear comprehension, because you're not clouding your mind with intoxicant. So this is the thing that every time we take the precept, we can reflect upon that how lucky we are that we in this world is very confused. People doesn't have anything. Some people doesn't have even some meaning to live. Many people commit suicide every day, but because they don't know that life is so precious, then they still have the thing to do, to be able to progress on this spiritual path toward the end of suffering. And we can have a lot of things. We can helping other as well as ourselves as well. We can be the spiritual friend to people around us and help them be free from suffering as well. But we start with ourselves, so we can share this knowledge with other people. Start with our own training. So having a chance to take the triple gems and commit to the precept is not something that can take it lightly. This is something that we are so lucky that we have the very precise and very correct teaching, and that leading us so far. And then when we start our commitment each week with that, when we picking up the Dhamma and chant and study the Dhamma means a lot more. Sometimes because the Buddha said it's very difficult for the people who are not giving, who are stingy, who are very to listen to the discourse about dana, about donation, because they're not generous. So they will not listen to it very well. And people who break precept all the time, for them it's very difficult to listen to the discourse about precept, because every time they listen to this, they will say, "Oh, the Buddha blame me again." The Buddha doesn't blame him; he just blame the behavior, the kilesa. But because he's so identified with kilesa, that's why he break the precept. So that's why he doesn't want to let go of that kilesa, of that defilement. So maybe that can be the sign. If you listen to a certain sutta that you don't like it, maybe it's time to go back to the why I didn't like that. Maybe there's something to do with the way I'm thinking or the way I'm doing. So this is why the sutta has a quality to purify oneself by looking back to us. It's like a mirror that when we read to that, we can see that, oh, maybe something wrong that I have to adjust, or maybe I need to change my behavior or my lifestyle in able to understand this teaching more. Because every sutta that Buddha gives, most of them people get enlightened from that. But the fact that we are not is that maybe because we're not equipped with the precondition for that yet. So we can go back and then maybe we can we can listen to it. But now when we chant it every week, we just re-chant it again and again, and maybe one day, when we ready, that special phrase or special sentence pop up, and then I really like that meaning, and that you go very deep in your heart. So the first thing you listen to sutta, you understand it intellectual first, but maybe it needs time to deep to sink it into your heart. The connection from your head to your heart. It requires some kind of meditation as well. So sometimes on the meditation cushion, or that's why it's good to, after the Dhamma or the chanting, we sit meditate quietly. Let that word of Dhamma sink in. Can get in deeply. In Thai word we call it khao chai. Khao is mean entering, chai is heart. So when you listen to the Dhamma, it's stuck here in your head. It doesn't enter into your heart. So the word khao chai is mean entering to your heart. So it needs time for the Dhamma to go in. So basically that needs a little help by being quiet, being still, being learn how to quieten the mind, pacify the mind, because the mind is moving all the time. So the Dhamma is not so clear to us. So this is a process where up again, every day we repeat that process again and again, and day by day we commit to the training precept. We meditate, we listen to the Dhamma, and somehow one day it will sink in and will enter our heart. So this is the meaning of the fact that we during this time of pandemics we may not be able to physically be together, but spiritually we are there. If you are keeping the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, you already connect to most people who are keeping the same precept. Actually, you find out that when you take certain precept, your worldview and many things is more closer to the one who have the same precept as you. Even sometimes even more than your friends, because that's how the people who have these two things, the sila and titti. The titti is the way you think, the way you see things, your paradigm of things, your understanding, your frame of reference, what you think is right and wrong, what you think is good and bad, what you think is worth respect, that is the titti. And the sila is the conduct, what do you do with your body and speech, so when people have that in tune with the titti and sila, they are more close to each other than everybody else, even though you live in the same house, but if you live different set of precepts, thinking differently, then it's almost like you are living apart. So we connect to this technology, which is very nice to even the other side of the world. We can make connection and give support to each other along the path, which is not easy. Practicing by oneself is usually a lot of things that very difficult. But once a week we hook up with the friends and we see that everybody also struggle in their own way, but we can struggle together by helping each other, and at least we make a commitment to that, saying it loudly, and then that is very wholesome. At least we start with the intention. We are not there yet, but we will be there one day, and this is our commitment, our path, and we will be a good person. We will not harm any living beings. We will learn the teaching of the Buddha and practice accordingly, according to our mindfulness and wisdom, our strength. So this is the way that we cultivate and we develop ourselves. So we do that once a week, that helping us to connect and helping us to practice. So I would like to offer this short Dhamma reflection because I think next week there will be the retreat. So I just maybe mention this preliminary retreat, that if you keep the precept, that will be helping you a lot with the retreat, because when we sit meditation, whatever you do, it will pop up, and sometimes we have a lot of time to deal with that. If you keep the precept pure, it's just easy. You just reflect upon this one by one, and you can feel joy and happiness by Sila-nusati, thinking about your moral precept. And if you understand the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, you can also reflect upon that as well. The recollection of the Buddha, the Buddha appear in the world, the Dhamma, the light of Dhamma, and then the Sangha. So we so lucky that we have that group of people who are along the path, and some of them in front of us, some of them behind us, but we walking together as a Kalyanamitta, the good friends. We help each other along the way. So that when we come together next week, then we will be on Sunday next week. So Sunday next week you'll have the retreat if anybody want to join, and it will be good to sit together and support in another way. We usually just take in the precept, chanting, and listen to Dhamma talk. And another important part is also sitting. Also good to have a chance to do that together somehow. So okay, so looking forward to the next week retreat on Sunday. And by the way, the next Friday will be not no session, because we prepare for the Sunday. So they will skip one Friday. So the 10th will be no teaching there. So we meet until we meet together on the 12th for the one-day retreat. Okay, so that will be enough for today.
หัน Dhammayang Dhammakataya Sadhu Karang Dadamase
Sadhu, 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 anumodami. Once again, thank you, Ajahn, for the Dhamma talk, and really thank Ajahn for always teaching us and helping us to understand the Dhamma more deeply, and also understanding the Dhamma in a various angle. So let us all show our gratitude to Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Right. Before we invite Ajahn to lead us in the closing homage, I would just like to make a short announcement regarding the activity next week. Can we have the slides for the December activities? Mafa or Yuyun? Okay. Basically, as what Ajahn has mentioned, so next Friday, 10th of December, there will be no Dhamma talk. So instead, we will have a 1-day online retreat on 12th of December on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Singapore, Malaysia time. So please feel free to join us. So you can visit NDR's Facebook and then register from there, right? So yes. So now we will invite Ajahn to lead us in the closing homage, please.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami.
Once again, thank you, Ajahn. We'll see Ajahn next Sunday.
Sunday.
At the
Okay.
Sunday, 12th December. Yes.
Yeah, see everybody next Sunday.